Hello. Hello, hello, hello. You can be here to vote and chat for the first hour, then you're off to counselling. Yay, counselling. Forgot it was 1 p.m. and not 11 a.m. because you're smart. Times, daylight savings, all these things. Hello, Chibi. Hello, Kira. Hello, Try. How are we all? Are we all well? I hope we're all well. If not, I hope we're all very much on the way to being well. Yeah. Well, welcome to Strem. Don't exactly know when my energy went today. It sort of disappeared at around 5 o'clock. Yeah. Had a good start to the day, but yeah, strange things. Did you steal it? I don't think so. Like I wouldn't exactly. So Try and I sort of practiced for, or tried to make sure all the technical stuff was ready for tomorrow's stream, the Magicka stream, which I made. Where's the thing? There's the thing. Ah, there it is. For the Magicka stream on Wednesday. But I wouldn't exactly have called that sort of socially or energetically taxing. It was just a sort of fun hangout. So, yeah, I don't know where it went. Weird. It's not the first day this has happened. Yeah, I have to remember to put... Try also reminded me that there is a name missing from this list of supporters. Because there was an issue with a person and their payment situation, and I forgot to remedy it. So, dear. The little witch Try is super cute. That's because the real Try is also super cute. So, yeah. So today, we should put some music on. That's what we should do. That was a piece of music from the Machinarium soundtrack, and I like that, so we're going to listen to that. Haven't used that as a background music for a while. Where is it? Machinarium. Do. Hey. There it is. Got it. Cool. Yeah. We'll just play from the beginning. Bit loud. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. It's good. It's a good game and very good soundtrack. It's by the same people who did Botanicula. If you remember, I played that a few months ago. They do good stuff. Samarost as well. They do Samarost. Interesting, usually non-verbal games, which is quite nice. Sort of universal. Everything's done using pictures rather than words. Anyway, blah 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 blah. Let's do stuff. So, welcome to Blank Pageville. It's always good fun to start in Blank Pageville. Right. So, what are we doing? That's a question. I don't know the answer to it. So I was talking with Try about this as to sort of probably make this canvas a bit wider so it fits the screen. Patreon rewards. At the moment, what I've been doing is making sticker sheets and all that sort of stuff. Good fun, but there's only so many stickers people need. Or have space to apply to things. So I don't know whether we want to keep doing stickers or at least keep doing them in the same way we're doing them. Maybe I've worked out you can do 2 big ones, or by big I mean like individual, roughly 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters sort of thing. So we can do 2 of those instead of like a sheet of small ones. Or we could do badges or any sort of things. I don't know. Just sort of throwing the idea out there. We could keep doing stickers till the end of the year and then swap it up next year. I don't know. For now, I'll just doodle and see where we're going. There's no real pressure this month, because if we can't think of anything at all, I've still got the fruit with legs from last month, and I quite like those. So it's quite nice to know that I've got a fallback. Anyway, how have we all been? Have we all had good starts to the week? Fruit with legs, yes. I like the fruit with legs, they were fun. Are my brushes a bit skew-if? Probably. It feels a bit loosey-goosey. Would that help? Higher density brush? Maybe? Right. Anyway, here's roughly a circle. Oh, hang on, I got the wrong eraser, the wrong rubber. If you're making a badge, pin, purple star, but that's very specific. I mean, let's face it, a lot of the people who are in supporting me on Patreon are in the Purple Star Gang. And anyone else who is supporting me is welcome, I assume. You're nice enough to want to pay me monthly. But then again, I'm not in charge of it anymore. It's not mine. You're not feeling too well at the moment, but it'll be okay. Oh, that's a shame. What can you do to improve that situation? Is there anything you can grab? Nice drink? Or something? November's been really starting with the sucky weather, so that's done. Otherwise, you're fine. Weather's been all right here, kind of. I forgot to share the pictures of the walk. I need to do that. I went out for a walk the other day, and because Try made or took pictures of their walk, I thought I'd do the same. I don't know what I'm drawing here, by the way. I'm drawing a thing with dots. If all else fails, tiny mouth. We know the rules. You're making some coffee and food. It's very foggy and drizzly here. Well, hopefully you can... the coffee and food will lift your spirits a little. The body's too small, is it? Oh, okay, hang on, let me fix that. That solved it? Hello, it's dark! How you know it is dark, actually. It's very dark. Sorry, I just noticed there's a spider on my ceiling. It's been there for like 3 months. No idea if it's still alive. But yeah, the spider. They're fine. It sits above the window. If any flies come in, I'm sure they'll catch it. So here's a good friend with a body. Yes, suggestions. Any suggestions of what to draw? Or what you might like on a sticker? Apart from the possible exception of an purple star thing. I did try and come up with some sort of animation for a purple star where it would sort of revolve but turn into like a heart as it revolved. Outliers, I could do outliers. I haven't drawn them for bloody ages. But, yeah, it was just when Try put up the GIF GIF for the Discord channel, and I thought I think I can come up with something sort of fun that's in that vein, but it would sort of spin around and then, because like naturally the upside down of the star is like that, and then with a little bit of morphing you can sort of get rid of those bits and sort of turn that into a sort of heart, as it were. Or you could just go full-blown him and have the heartogram or whatever it's called. I'd like to think of it as a buttergram. Looks a bit more like a... Anywho, there's the thing. Your body hates you, but you manage. Oh no. That's no good. Okay, let's doodle some outliers, why not? I would make them sort of like December-y themed, but I don't know. That thing. Just make some outliers. I do need to get back into practice of drawing. I said I'd replace the horses of October. I said I'd replace it with practicing drawing these guys again. Haven't quite managed to do that yet. I'm doing this on far too lower detail. I've also got to learn how to draw them simpler. They've always been like drawn at the sort of top of my consistent ability, as it were. And covered in gift ribbons. She's just anything like glitter, tinsel, Christmas tree ornaments. Hello Octo, how you doing? Hey, it's all well. Thank you for popping in. Stoic with snow on his face, clefts. Not a fan of the word clefts. Yeah, I should probably do these on a decent size, or at least with a smaller brush. Whoops. It does the thing again. When you place something down, the selection reselects everything. It's an octo! Mel drunk on sherry. I've never really known, like, not being a proponent of alcohol, I don't really know what Mal would be likely to drink. My default is gin, but I don't know whether that's a particularly Mal drink. He'll probably drink anything, to be honest. Hello, Oobs! There's many friends. Also, hello, Miss, which I forgot to say earlier. Stealing presents from children. No, he's not like that. He'll steal presents from arsehole children. Let's bring that in. Like bullies and stuff. I bet he's got a big thing against bullies. Even though he kind of is one. He only does it to his friends, which is not a good excuse. Treat your friends well. Oh, the mods have made your game harder. Oh no. They tried stealing one of your boys. That's an interesting thing. And there's the clockwise operator again. Kicks back in. I always should... I'll just sort of draw them for now and then see where this goes. I should also not do it while zoomed in. That way madness lies. Nope, that's the wrong way. So it's like that, and then... Bullies the bullies, yeah. That's the best way to deal with that. Big sticky with winter themed group pick of the outliers. I'll just like one big sticker. I can do that. Oh, one of them is super dodge, so you miss 96% of shots regularly unless they're flanked. Ooh. M in ribbons, mistletoe, and M's boyfriend. Oh, I thought about M's boyfriend. He sort of existed for the purposes of that comic, but what was his name? Ty, I think. Tyson. How about a Kiro and Lewis sticker for our World Saviors? Possibly. But the main problem with that is I can't remember what they look like in the game. Kiro wore green, Lewis wore red. That's about it. Which is why I occasionally mixed up Kiro and Chibi, because they wore very similar shades of green. What music are we listening to? This is the soundtrack to Machinarium. Yes, as Kiro has just said, because I'm bad at paying attention. It's by Thomas Dvorak. I apologise if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. And it's very good. It's literally... I may have said this before. It's the only game I've actively backtracked in just to listen to music. Which is an interesting accolade. In particular, this piece of music. Clockwise Operetta. Which I believe plays in the prisons. Ooh. What? Apparently Steam's on, and I can't reach my friend's network. Go away, Steam. I don't care about you. Anyway, there's a quick Rufus. I might as well do busts of each of them while I'm here. There's a breakup card. What? Let's do sort of rough. Facial structure. Go away, Steam, I don't care about you. I mean, Steam's been playing up somewhat fierce recently with the new update. Never quite. Stoic's very frustrating in his proportions. It's very specific proportions, but they're never where you expect them to be. And everything has to be a slight slant. Like none of the actual lines tend to be straight lines. So like this sort of bottom lip here needs to be sort of slightly convex. I've tried to 3D model the head several times to no avail. This angle makes him look like part of a propaganda poster. And of course the head geometry is all wrong now, but that happens, don't worry about it. You wouldn't know you haven't logged in since you finished that puzzle game you gave me. I finished that the other day. I went back to it and finally finished it. I like the ending. The very last shot. No spoilers for anyone who hasn't played it. You remember that from trying to draw Stoic, so it was just, how does this work? It's strange. I think it's because it's so simple. There's so little going on that anything you get wrong is noticeable. Either that or I've just been drawing it for so long I get extremely specific about it, all the details. That happens. I need to... The one thing I want to learn sort of properly with regards to sort of character drawing and things like that, Miss is very good at this, I feel, is rubberizing characters. Just sort of making sure their features are sort of more elastic, that they squish and they bend, and, you know, facial expressions are more than just where the eyebrows are. You know, or what shape the mouth is. It affects the whole thing. This is very good at squash and stretch and all that sort of stuff. Whereas I get a little bit bogged down in rigid structure and so on, which is no problem for Stoic, because there's little other than eyebrows. But like M, for example, I feel like I can do more with sort of what you can see of M's face, and then focus a bit more on the body language thereafter, because she's a bit difficult to portray through anything other than motion. You just need a character design lesson from Miss. I want Miss to stream just so I can watch the process. But obviously, that's not up to me. But what if Miss stream? Look, I am not the person to make demands. All I'm saying is, if it happened, I would be there. Or I try to be there. you know me, and consistently turning up to streams. It's not a thing. Look at Mrs. IG story. I keep forgetting stories are a thing. They're so easy to just skip. They're so easy to just forget are there. I don't even know how to make them. There's no explanation to them at all anywhere. Such a if you don't already know or are told by someone. Keep doing lines until you realize it's been 8 hours and you may as well stop. Look, that's how you view it. As I've said before, you are the worst person to understand your process because you don't know what you're doing differently from everyone else. You know? You don't get noticed from Instagram, so you generally forget to look at it. I occasionally look at it. Every now and then, I can't remember. But even then, it's just like stories are such a tiny part of the screen. You just, carry on. You don't have an Instagram. How dare you. To be fair, Instagram is owned by Facebook, and, fair thing to try and avoid that, if you wish. You don't have a Facebook? I don't have a Facebook. It's one of the few ones I've actively gone and deleted. Sorry, I kicked the microphone. Who's next? Mal. Mal's always good fun, usually from this angle. It's more because that's another social media you have to track. I can understand that. I want a thing that I could just post to all of these social media. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's a program that you can. We'll start with the eyebrows. That you can get like posts, post these pictures and these words to Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, please, thank you, goodbye. And then you don't have to interact with the website at all. You keep wanting to delete it but also forgetting, that's fine. I never quite know how to do his nose from this angle. I don't really know what his nose is at all, to be honest. It works well from one angle, and everything else is just, maybe. Do you know when you got invited to that 30th birthday, you went to the one where you felt very ill? It felt really nice because she asked you in person. It wasn't lumped in a Facebook group. That's cool. Well, with like a 30th birthday party, I imagine it's, you might even make physical invitations and send those out or whatever. Like something like that. I don't think I've ever been invited to anything on Facebook, so I don't really know what that's like. But felt like a human interaction again. Oh. You like Insta, which is harder for you to navigate to get into. I never go on Twitter, so I have a third-party thing called TweetDeck, which does all that for me. Oh god, that looks. Thanks for demonstrating how badly this is turning out. Anatomy. Perspective. I can never remember how to do his hair or anything about him. Yeah, that's right. I'm trying to learn more about, getting the facial structure from several different angles and so on and so forth, and getting that sort of jawline is pretty important, particularly for Malachi with his mutton chops. I'm also considering trimming those down to just be long sideburns. He used to have a soul patch as well, back in the day. You need to practice faces from different angles. Yes, I saw a cool thing. I was watching a thing about lighting and how to paint with half tones. They used a lot of terminology that to me seemed pointless, and was just part of a larger, more abstract concept that they tried to specify that seemed a waste of time. But they had this sort of bust that was extremely geometric, and the idea is you would point a light at it from a particular angle, and it would show you very clearly what the shadow should be in that kind of area, depending on the sort of how smooth or how angular the face would be, which was pretty cool. I like that. I'll see if I can find that video. It's quite interesting. I mean, it all looked nice until I started trying to put the geometry into it. What does that look like? It looks not great. I had this trouble last time I drew Malachi on screen, didn't I? Why isn't this Malachi? What is it about? It must be the eyes, because it looked fine up until then. The nose is too big. It's always the one I have trouble with. Nose in more, that's probably it. Yeah, I like that, that's good. Eyes might be a bit too close together, but if I start messing around with it, actually the face in general is quite small. I went through this period with drawing characters where their eyes were far too small, and looking back on it, it's like, oh dear. Very strange. No. I also want to do more costume, well, not costume, clothing, fashion stuff. Particularly given that a lot of Outliers stories that I have planned are set in different places at different times and all these sorts of things. So yeah. We bit sad about the pictures. On Facebook. Either lose, then again.
That wasn't necessary of you, but you have my thanks.
Sunshine, sunny, ooh, or 00. I'm not sure which that is. Thank you for following. Hello. Sorry, what was I reading? My attention is easily dissipated. Sad about the pictures. You haven't looked at Facebook like 5 years. If you didn't miss them in those 5 years, you're not going to start now. That's the thing, you know. Tumblr's honestly not that bad. You just got to watch who you follow. I mean, Tumblr is as good as the account you are looking at. Like, it's the same with all these sort of social media things. Is you can have a sort of tendency depending on, you know, the audience, but generally speaking, it's you're only ever looking at one Tumblr at once. So, also I used to be on it, and it was fine. Maybe I just didn't go looking in the weird areas. Who knows? You've met some Grenine people on Tumblr. Greninja. I suppose M is the last in the link. It's an M. There is a 2-page sort of comic just involving M that I want to do at some point. Maybe I'll do that as a warm up before I jump into a 10-page one. No, I wanted it to be more forward. Oops. I've also had this story. A lot of the stories that I've sort of been working on with the Outliers have been sort of not exactly pastiches of existing things, but like sort of based in the same world or in the same format, as it were. Sort of like the Why We Didn't Finish sort of thing. A bit like After Dusk. It's not, it's not Until Dawn, but it's definitely referential to it, but not in a way that's like, copying characters or plot storyline or whatever. So I've been writing a lot of that kind of thing. But I did write a thing where just a story about how Malachi and M met, which is kind of sweet, sort of sentimentally kind of thing. And I'd like to do that at some point, but I'd have to get things sort of up and running in order for that to sort of fit in anywhere. That big old grin. I believe the working title for that was The Ladette and the Tramp, but are they remaking The Lady and the Tramp? With like live action / CGI with dogs that were from shelters or something like that? I remember reading a story that all the dogs from it were rehomed. It's odd the hair's not on, but it still doesn't feel like M, you know what I mean? I don't know what the hair's going to be doing. I was going to have it like sort of. So in that case, I need it to be. It's brilliant that you give her expressive eyes in the sketch. I mean, you kind of have to, but at the same point, it is a bit detrimental because you forget as you're doing it. If you're not careful, you'll forget that they'll be gone by the end, and you'll lose a lot. But yeah, so long as you keep that in mind. I can't remember what was I going to do with this. Just have it sort of. How do you draw M's hair? It's a mess, isn't it? I've never really quite known how to do M's hair. I learnt a lot from Miss about how to do sort of hair like this, even though it's still not great. This kind of squiggly, scruffy, kind of curly, kind of not sort of hair. Floofy, good word. Drawing something and then covering it up, you wouldn't know anything about that. No, never. Welcome to Foggate, where I draw all the comic and then think, oh yeah, this needs speech bubbles over it. Whoops, there goes 80% of the background I spent hours drawing. Yeah, so like that's not quite right. What's wrong with this? Doesn't look like M. Why don't it look like M? Flip. Boom. Wow, it just looks completely wrong, doesn't it? Look at that. So I know kind of what I was trying to do with this, but this ain't it. Oh, I don't even know what this is. What is going on? Oh dear. Well, I'll tell you what, hang on. The silhouette's completely wrong, so let's sort of get that sorted before we go any further. Nah, not like that. Moving on. Tips for digital art. It depends what you're doing, really. I mean, practice is the obvious one. No one ever likes to hear that as a tip, but it is. Yeah. Yeah. First and foremost, just play around with what you have. Practice, play, bleh. And play help immensely in learning the program, how you like to use it, and what you can do for you. Yes, I could give various technical tips with regards to bits and bobs. Let me just sort of... But, yeah, I don't know. Find brushes, if you're using a program with sort of customizable brushes. Do try and find brushes that just feel right, as it were. I don't really know how better to explain it than that. But it's a bit like, you know, one of the piece of advice I was given with regards to guitars was you could have the best sounding guitar in the world, with the best pickups and just plugged into an amazing amp and so on and so forth. But if you don't like the way it feels, you're never going to pick it up and play it. So I think that's sort of important, is just to get the feel of it right. Make sure you get to the point where you're just comfortable playing with it. And at that point you can start sort of getting into more specifics and such. Yeah, I don't know. Beyond that, don't really know about sort of starting. I hate starting from scratch, you know. Feels like it's a bit of a failure. But it happens. I mean, it is a failure. You tried a thing and it didn't work, but it's not that big of a problem. Not that big of a deal. I think that's the thing. It's not as voluminous at the top. It gets more voluminous as it goes down. I think that's... Oh, I've been drawing over like 8 years. I should probably know how it goes. It didn't help that for the first couple of years of that she was wearing a hat constantly, but you know, these things happen. Oh, you're welcome, Sunshine. That's I don't know how helpful it may be, but yeah, it's so much easier to get better at something if you enjoy it. So work on that. Oh yeah, don't be afraid to use reference. That's just a good general art tip, which I'm completely avoiding right now. So do better than me. That's a good bit of advice. Improve on me. I should probably reference my own stuff as well. For I just need to get sort of get back into the. I haven't drawn these characters at all this year. It's really problematic. Ugh. Oh yeah, and don't be discouraged when things go wrong as well. That's a good general bit of advice. Things will go wrong. You will never get everything right first time. You will never get everything right first time. You won't always get things right first time, is what I'm saying. So never be afraid to iterate, to redo, to delete, start again. But at the same time, do try and work out what it is that went wrong last time. Like this face. Like, what's wrong with this face? Why does it look insane? Looks a little bit more like Russell Mail from the Sparks back in the 1980s or 70s or whatever it was. Yes, clearly I'm not the person to be giving advice right now. It started off all right. I'm not sure what happened as we go along. Nah, it'll do. You want me to give you a load of words again? I don't know. Are we happy with the idea of having outliers stickers for this month, or a sticker, or what have you, or a postcard, or don't be afraid to draw something over 5 times if you think it doesn't look good. Yeah. Also, keep side by side the ones you had before. If you feel like you're struggling and you're banging your head against a brick wall, try and draw lots of different iterations of the same thing very quickly, and then they might not all get better, but if you realise that the one you've just done isn't as good as the one you did before, then look at the one you did before and work out why. You know? She looks like she just committed a crime. She probably would by accident. Also, I apologise directly to Miss for saying I've learnt a lot about how to draw this sort of hair from Miss, and then struggling to draw hair for 10 minutes. It's like, I've learnt a lot from Miss. Here's how bad I am, and thus impinging on the good name of just Miss Art. Yeah, I definitely need to get back into drawing these characters again. This is bad. No, I draw the face so that I can get the eyebrows in the right place, and then I deleted the face before I put on the eyebrows. On the plus side with the stickers, I can go away and redraw them after this stream. I don't have to use what I did in the stream. Thank the Lord. Hair's very difficult. I'm just struggling to get hair to fit on a head at all. You don't see how many times it takes to get hair right. That's another bit of advice. You see all of your works in progress and drafts and unfinished sketches and all these sorts of things, but your favorite artist doesn't show you theirs. So don't judge yourself by that, because you have no idea how many they did. Right. Oops. Windows has some weird features. You do hair first because it's one of the only things you know how to do. Oh, interesting. I mean, in the case of M, sometimes it does help, as was demonstrated by this picture, but even then. When she's mostly hair... You like frames, sills, handles? Hinges as well? I'm assuming this is a pun that I've forgotten the setup to. Did I mention I'm low energy today? Oh, Windows. Gonna sit back and have a drink. M with eyes looks so incredibly weird to you. That's fair enough, because you don't see her eyes. Sorry. Right, let's think. What can we do? Do we want four stickers of the individual characters? Do we want a large one-off sticker of the four of them together? What do we want? We've got like an hour to mess around. Would that be the same price-wise? I mean, technically it'd be less for one big sticker. Well, actually, I don't know. How big would the sticker be? How big would the sticker have to be to break even? Let's have a look. Because it'll probably be rectangular-ish. So for that many sticker sheets, that's that. Okay. Let's say we have die-cut stickers. Same number. How big would it have to be to equal the same? What do you call it? What about, like, let's say 50 millimeters by 100 millimeters. What would that be? Oh, that's much cheaper. You could probably do two. A big group sticker would be fun. You like a large sticker? Like I said, I could probably do two at that price. Is there music playing? There is, yes. Very, very quietly. We could do like one with just like their four heads or something together. And then one with sort of full bodies of them being silly. That could be fun. Yeah, we could do that. Ideas? I see the bots having fun. Posting late. Which is, as Oob says, is half an hour late, so pretty good for that bot. Right, okay, cool. Let's not get distracted by that. So, yeah, so the basic idea be like, so there'll be one with sort of like the four of their faces, usually M at the background and Malachi at front. Probably Rufus here and Stag there. Usually with M's arms around everyone. That's usually how I do these. Be quite nice. A little sticky. And then another one which would be sort of like a scene of some description with... I think this would be just a sort of default, or not default, but like a kind of relatively vanilla sort of outliers sticker. And then we'd have another one which is a scene which is more seasonal, which is more sort of... I was actually... One thing I was kind of planning to do for next year, which I don't know whether I will do, but do like a kind of calendar thing. So like every month I just do a thing with the outliers, just a picture of that month, representing that month with the outliers. I don't know whether I will do that because time, but you know, we'll see. Maybe I can make that part of the Patreon thing. I don't know. Little postcard. Yeah, I don't know how granular I could get though. I don't really know in my head the difference between a January and a February. You know, they don't feel different to me. So I'll have to do some messing around with that. Okay, so let's work on this one because this seems relatively straightforward. We might as well start a new. Whoop, hello. The phantom floating head shape. Make them a disgusting monstrosity with one fused body. The sticker will stop before we get to that bit, so you're more than welcome to have your own headcanon as to what's going on underneath it. What? I didn't say no. Feel free. When you get your sticker, you can stick it on a piece of paper and then draw the bottom half. Oh yeah, see, Miss has the same idea. Okay, so let's try and get how our body's doing here. You're off to get tacos and counselling. Marvellous. I hope you enjoy both of them. Or at the very least, I hope both of them bring you joy. Thank you for popping along. Have a wonderful time. Oh yeah, that's the end of the album. There is bonus stuff though. There's DLC. But well, not DLC, but a bonus EP. I don't know why they're separate, but they are. Okay, so this is sort of rough. Get that sort of rough shape. These are all sort of 3/4-ish, apart from M. So relatively straightforward. M can be relatively straightforward because you don't really see the face. It's just a bunch of hair. Drawing characters' face on is always weird. One thing I'm trying to do, which goes against my instincts, is I'm trying to rough out the shapes of everything before I start getting too detailed on anything in particular. This is not how I usually do things, and that's probably for the best. It's a crow! We traded a try for a crow. How you doing? No hockey on today, I assume. Tired? I know the feeling. Although I suppose it's the beginning of the day for you, or, well, not the beginning, the middle-ish. Time zones, I don't know these things. That still doesn't look like M. Today is I can't draw M day. That's what that is. Someone cosplaying as M, yeah. The wig's not quite right, but you know, they're having fun, doing a good job. My word, if anyone cosplays as any of my characters, I'd explode. To be fair, M would be relatively easy. You just need like a long jumper and a big wig. Pretty much sorted. Rufus would be a bit itchy. Well, I've got a head start on that one, so. A bit easier for the men on that one, or the men that can grow a beard anyway, or the women that can grow a beard. I'm not judging. Stoic would be hard to cosplay. Yeah, the mask is tricky. I have tried to make one before. I have a couple of failed attempts in my room. Again, just get it. It's oddly specific. I'd love to have a good one. I might try and find someone who could make masks. I don't know. Is that a thing? Is mask maker a profession? Chisel it out of stone, true fan, yeah. And actual block of stone stuck on the front of your face. It would also require a suit. I've got plenty of those. He doesn't always wear a suit. Just usually. Also, I should probably stop referring to Stoic as he. Sort of makes more sense for them to be they. I don't know. Just like sort of gender irrelevant, if that makes sense. It's sort of like the opposite of gender fluid. Just gender abstract. Just whatever, doesn't matter. Not everyone has suits. I know. I'm just saying, of you know, a decently constructed Stoic mask, possibly made of stone, that also conforms to the contours of your face, and a suit. I know which one of the two is probably easier to get your agender. That's a good one. Yes, agender. Stoic is agender. He has an agenda. How many times have they heard that joke? I'm so original. Yeah, I didn't draw the head this time, which is bad practice. I could probably just lift the drawing I did in at the start of the stream. It's pretty much the same angle. So facing down a little bit. Also a bit squatter this time. It's not quite the right dimensions. I'll have to fix that. Indifferent, that was the word I was looking for. Gender indifferent. But agender, I feel like, is more apt. You do absolutely love Stoic's design? I think Stoic was kind of like one of my first sort of visually designed OCs, if that makes sense. It's, you know, originally he was sort of back when I was doing comics involving me. He was the physical manifestation of my stoicism, and as a consequence, he was basically me with the mask, but with all the colour drained out. But over time, the sort of have garnered their own design, as it were, and you know, evolved separately. The mask is original, but also they look like a sleek MFer. Do love a sleek MFer. I'm glad. It's sort of fun to do Stoics costumes. It's difficult with a lack of colour. Obviously, monochrome outfits are, you know, you've got to think more about structure than anything and layering. But Malachi's head very big here, so let's fix that. I know it's at the front, but. You may just love suits. That's perfectly acceptable. Suits look good. I mean, they look good on some people. I don't think I fully suit a suit, if that makes sense. They're slightly different. Like, a standard suit for some reason doesn't look that good on me, but with slight tweaks, it's not too bad. You've acquired a cat who is now nudging your mouse mat about. That makes sense. It's got the word mouse involved. It is therefore their business. Actually, to be fair, you know, they're a cat, everything's their business. Drawing Malachi's hair from this angle is always... It's always a bit of a nuisance. That quiff, how does it work? Trying to keep them sort of distinct. I can't remember what I used to do for Malachi with regards to his nose, but I seem to remember that the button nose is a relatively recent addition, and I feel like it really suits him. And I say recent, it's probably like 3 years ago. You recently stopped walking because you saw a neat waistcoat in a shop, and you were like, you wish that was for women. I mean, yeah, I suppose a waistcoat is sort of one of the few sort of parts of the suit that really is, you know, requires modification depending on the body shape. It's a shame. I've got a few waistcoats. They're fun. No, that's just all wrong. Look at that. Let me try. Hang on. Okay. Try and retain as much of M as possible. Yeah, no, it just didn't look good. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. She looks a bit like Shaggy in this. Zoinks. Again, I think I've done the thing where it's too big at the top. It needs to sort of cascade down a bit more. I'll work it out. Also, I tend to do the thing wrong. A lot of the time when you're sort of given advice on how to draw sort of heads and things like that, they tend to ask you to sort of, draw a sphere and then to that attach, a chin and sort of this would be the sort of the top part of the skull, and then you extend it and add things onto it. I tend to make a circle and then just sort of chisel bits out, which is I don't think is the way you're supposed to do it. Supposed to, schmost to. That's good advice. There's just that niggling thing in the back of your mind when you're doing something and you've taken 10 attempts at it and it's not working. That maybe if you'd just done it the way they said, you might not be having this trouble now. Oobs' wizardry, just carving things out of thin air. Why are you all so good? Also, his head does need to be rather lower for the purposes of making sure his hair doesn't get in the way of M. The music has ended again. Let's get something else. Dunno. Terraria? That'll do. From experience, you'd still be having this trouble. I know. It's just anything your brain can do to make you feel like you've done something wrong. Nibbling on his hair. I mean, wouldn't surprise me. I was going to have M sort of leaning down, but I think it'd be a bit too cramped if I do that. So, just bring everyone down. A tad, a smidge. We could have Malachi coming in a little bit. Stoic. It doesn't matter if we see the entirety of Stoic's chin, I'm sure. Why do I put the person with the tallest hair in front? Whose silly idea was that? You don't think Stoic would mind? Stoic doesn't mind anything. If you've ever played Terraria, you hear this music a lot. Where's Try? The nose is always too big, isn't it? Note to self, Malachi's nose is a small little button thing. Note to everyone else, stickers for this month's Patreon may be delayed a bit. Which is fine, because I want to send off the Forest of Doom ones at the same time, so... for printing, that is. Save a bit of money. It doesn't go up there, it comes up here. Nah, I don't like those eyes. For a sticker, it's got to be dynamic, you know? Eyes wide open. There's only 2 pairs of eyes in this whole picture. They might as well be interesting. Somehow I think the geometry of this has gotten a little bit confused. Right, anyway. What does everybody have planned for their weeks? The weeks forthcoming? I believe Chibi starts a new semester or whatever it is, new term. Survive, that's helpful. Anything beyond that? Yeah, I feel like the silhouette of this head doesn't quite match the angle. Or the face doesn't quite match the... Everybody's still up for this design? I'll work on it, don't worry. Work? Nah. You started the new semester yesterday, Planning the demise of your friends' beloved Starfinder characters. Gonna make Chibi cry. Tried to study, failed to study. No, you will succeed to study. Or at the very least, you will try. I mean, that's more than a lot of people do. You're gonna watch Parasite today with your brother. I don't know what that is. It sounds like a wholesome family fun. More archaeology and elective philosophy. You know it's smart when you say it to someone and they don't even know what the words mean. Probably should have drawn these on separate layers, shouldn't I? Oh hum, these things happen. From the director of Snowpiercer. Oh, it's going to be like a raucous sort of rom-com, I guess. It's going to be, you know, nice, universal sort of thing you'd see on Hallmark. Got already slightly pissed during philosophy today. Pissed as in angry or pissed as in drunk? Because if it's the latter, I know a song about that. It's fine. You guys won't even realise until it's too late. Then you'll think it's your fault. Yeah, something about that angle doesn't add up, match up. It's like I'm sort of fisheye lensing the whole thing. I think the problem is I get too stuck in the silhouette of his face without actually thinking about how it works structurally, you know? Like, how exactly does this head connect to the neck? Please, thank you. Why did you put comedy? Because double the laughs. So your brain is turning even more into mush with this moon. There's a moon? Is it a particular moon? It's like so much comedy. Rom-com comedies, yeah. Rom-com comedy, comedy, jury. What? Oh, is it a full moon? Yeah. I never pay attention to that. Dragons! The biggest parasite. You got frustrated because you already know they're going to hit us over the head with a bat labelled rationality, which isn't too bad if it wasn't so clearly Western, Renaissance / Enlightenment. Oh, we've lost Chibi then. If it's got anything to do with the Renaissance, Chibi's out. Is the moon ever empty? No, because the moon's an optimist. If it isn't full, then it's new. You know? The positive outlook on life. There's probably a fridge magnet in there. Renaissance. Oh, can we make an OC called Renaissance, who is just everything Chibi hates? Oh, no. Like that, but French. Thank you for the gift, GIF. The Sans Undertale, as is their full name. The internet has told me. I do like the idea of Renaissance, though. Okay, so that's far too high. A fun fact, Stoic's hair, this sort of up and down with a kind of flick, is based on Charlie Brooker's hair, who you may know as the maker of Black Mirror. Although I know as the guy who does Screen Wipe and News Wipe. You have a family member named Rene. Thankfully, no Sans though. Every time English people attempt to pronounce something not English, a year is added to your life. My apologies. Sorry. It's Renee, isn't it? Doing great though. Yeah. It's Rane. Anyone seen hello hello? Oh, Rane. You will achieve immortality. Rainy. Oh no, that's not good. I never quite know what to do with the back of Stoics here. I've got with Malachi, sort of can't really see it from this angle. It sort of flicks up and then it sort of flicks up down here. With Rufus, it sort of curves down and then pokes out again and then curves down again. But with Stoics, it's just sort of like I just want him. He's a cube. It's like something on a Kraftwerk album cover. Hello, hello, you beautiful mess. It's a thing. Oh, nay. Hello, you may be wondering how I ended up in front of a German firing squad for the second time. Well, you see, the Germans think that I am my own twin brother, also called Rene. By the way, I didn't make that up. Stoic, secretly incredibly fashion forward with their hair. Look, yeah, sure. If it means I'm not bad, sure. To be fair, we don't actually know how long Stoic has existed, so if they've been wearing these clothes that entire time, very fashion forward. It's only now it is inappropriate. I like that idea. I like that idea of an immortal who wears exactly the same clothes constantly, and just for one brief period in history is fashionable. Ah yes, the painting of the fallen Madonna with the big boobies by Van Klomp. Behind the wall of his cellar, hidden inside a bratwurst, that is stuffed down the trousers of a German officer, who is hiding from the Gestapo, who is dressed as a baby. It's a weird show. But some of the bratwursts have dynamite in them, and other ones have 20,000 francs. It's a farce, as you may be able to ascertain. Some say during caveman time, Stoic was already wearing a suit. Yes. Stoic is actually the only survivor of Atlantis. The recaps at the beginning were some of the best moments. It's like the writers going, look, we know how ridiculous this is. We can't possibly do an actual recap of this. So let's just have the character explain it in the most absurd possible way. They had a lot of catchphrases, that one, didn't it? Yeah. I still say good moaning. What if Stoic caused Atlantis to sink? Look, never inquire as to Stoic's history. Also, I don't think that's sort of how that works. Rufus is kind of the hardest for me to dress in a sense, because like he sort of evolved from a fictional version of me, and I don't want to just dress him in the clothes I wear because that's boring. Still trying to work out his sort of personal identity, apart from neurotic. Sorry, but you just got the idea of him and Stoic travelling through history, just causing absolute chaos. I mean, sure. I could probably turn... Oh, that's not hair, is it? That's a mouth. It's always good when you can't tell in a sketch. I can always make that a thing. The outliers through history, they've never really existed in one particular universe, so might as well not exist in one particular point in time either. I did have another idea for a... So, again, I was talking about how I have a bunch of stories sort of lined up for these guys. And a lot of them are sort of based on existing things, but not directly aping them, if that makes sense. But the one that's sort of closest to actually aping the story, or not the story, but like the setting and the idea, is I came up with one for Pokemon with these four. I liked the idea that they were hired as the four other people, or the four trainers on Nugget Bridge. Do you know what I mean? But they're actually all plants for the purposes of Team Rocket trying to recruit strong trainers. You know what I mean? I think there's an interesting story in that. Of them deliberately having to lose and Malachi constantly getting really annoyed. There's also one based on Bioshock, which I'm looking forward to. Yeah. Also, more fashion. Work out more clothes for these guys. Just give Malachi a strappy top, stoic a suit, Emma jumper. I don't know, this is Rufus an undone shirt. Standard fare. It's a bit lopsided, isn't it? With this scyther, yeah, that's what made me think of it. So I kind of already have an ending. But then again, I should probably focus on doing more sort of wholly original, or at least, you know, decently original stories. Referential, but not copyright infringing. You know what I mean? Like After Dusk. Let's rebuild your jaw. Just more masonry than drawing. Sorry, this stream sort of turned into, hey, watch me draw my characters and prattle on about them for a while. I'd rather explain them via stories rather than just sitting here chatting away. I think that's what I quite like about After Dusk, because it's a pretty good introduction to them. You reread that recently while you're having a mare day and it never fails to make you giggle. I'm very pleased. Well, yeah, but you didn't ask me to go on about stories I have planned and all that sort of stuff. Like I said, I'd rather just sort of get on with it and hopefully they're good. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I may have to redraw. I'm not too pleased with... with this one. Might even put her hair up, who knows. Get adventurous. Can you believe that fans of your work are interested in your ideas for the future? Look, again, I'd rather... I feel like talking about things for ages doesn't help... doesn't serve to make that thing good. You know? If anything, it serves to get hopes up and for them to be dashed, you know? I'd rather surprise you all with something interesting, you know? Like, I could talk for bloody ages about the plans I have for the Stanley Parable-based one, because I have a lot of plans for that one, but I'd rather them be a surprise, so... I'm kind of worried what I'll do after that. You'd always be interested if you do talk about stuff, and you're always interested in anything you make or do. That's very kind of you, but yeah, at the same time, I'm not gonna take that for granted if I can at all avoid it. Wow, that piece of music does not sound right with only one headphone in. That's the problem with Malachi, is he tends to have his various parts of his body exposed and, you know, not covered up by long floppy clothing, so I actually have to try and get the anatomy right. Damn him! Don't worry, Chris, if you're ever boring you'll whine obnoxiously about it. That's fair enough. So is everyone alright with this sort of idea for a sticker? Also, I've just noticed that everyone's quiff goes in the same direction. Everybody's got a side parting, apart from M. Everybody's got a side parting and it's on the right. You love hearing people get fussy with their OCs when drawing them. It's very sweet. Oh, I'm sure there's plenty of that you'll see. I might start streaming, you know, making of Outliers comics or whatever. I don't know. Oh, sorry, randomly while I take a little bit of a break. I've just looked at Malachi. That's something's very, very not right about that. He looks like he's going bald. Too high. Miss. I love hearing people get fussy about their OCs. Me. Oh, that's interesting. Now to obsess about details of a character's hair. Malachi, what are you doing? That's a bit better. A bit of structural integrity in there. Sure, the shape would have much better constructive criticisms. Absolutely. Constructive shape. Triangles are very good for construction. They're very strong. It either say that or would just throw a bottle at my head. One or the other. I found a bunch of old comics I was going to make. So my last album, Almost Schizoid, the original idea for that was that it was going to be these guys. It was going to be an album for them, as it were. And I wrote a bunch of kind of sketch things because I was going to animate a kind of behind the scenes making of it, whatever. Far too ambitious. And I came up with there were some good sketches in there. And there was one about, sort of recurring sketch about Malachi just throwing bottles at people. And it sort of ends with Malachi throwing one at Stoic, and Stoic doesn't even move. It just sort of bounces off his face. And then slowly but surely, sort of more things get thrown, bigger and bigger things, and Stoic continues to be completely unmoving during the whole thing. Yeah, it's a funny thing. Malachi comes in and sort of punches it. Still, no movement, but Malachi ends up breaking his hand. I just have a Stoic's completely inert. It doesn't move at all. Yeah, what was I going to say? Oh yes, an idea I kind of wanted to float with you guys. These probably would be morning streams. I don't know whether or not anyone would be interested in that. But I want to spend a bit more time working on sort of music and things like that, and deliberately taking a day off from drawing. But I like the idea of doing... Where did this line come from? Strange one. I like the idea of doing a stream where I just make music, just like random music, like not songs, but just random pieces of music that I could use in streams, because part of me is kind of annoyed at the whole situation with, you know, oh, it's a gamble. Can I use this music from this game on YouTube for the VOD, or am I going to get a copyright strike and have to edit the video to get it out and all that sort of stuff? So I've always liked the idea of just having my own library of music that I've made, because no one can copyright strike that. So I don't know whether that would be an interesting idea, just like a kind of, I don't know, Tuesday morning stream or something like that, where I just make random music, like folk or electronic or rock or orchestral, just all sorts of bits and bobs. I can copyright strike it, assuming I have gone out my way to get the copyright. Okay, I think that's an alright an alright idea for a sticker. Yeah. Right. So let's. I should probably save this somewhere, shouldn't I? Nope. Yep. Holographic, shiny, embossed, textured, one for each. Not sure I have capabilities to do that. Which one will be which? I feel like Stoic should be textured. Get a kind of rough sort of thing. Or maybe M, sort of fur. Just stick some fur on it. Mal would be hollow. That makes sense. Or shiny. M shiny, Mal hollow, Rufus embossed, Stoic textured. I reckon that'd be my. So we don't have an awful lot of time, so let's sort of get down ideas as to kind of seasonal. I'll probably post these things in Discord and as I'm going along and designing them, but so we want a kind of seasonal tableau of the four of them doing something silly. It probably involves them being wrapped up in ribbons and tree decorations dangling from her hair. Tinsel as well. I don't know what else it would be though. M is the tree. That sounds about right. Which is completely unrelated to everyone else. Just standing there like, hey, look at this. The music has ended again. Let us find something else. Grim Fandango, why not? A game I have not played, but do own. I do quite like the idea of that being the thing, of everybody just sort of... There's part of me that wants to say, I like the idea of them all sort of decorating M. But there's also another part of me that makes it... feels like it's more funny if she just did it accidentally herself. Because of course she would. I think the thing I like about M is that she's not stupid, but she is very clumsy. I don't know. There's also part of me that wants to hope. Wants to hope. Yeah, there is part of me that wants to hope, but it's hard, you know. No, there's part of me that hopes that Outliers kicks off well enough that I can start working on Whitecoats as well, which is something I've been talking about for 5 years. Because I like those characters too, and I think you'll like them. And I like the story. Well, not story. I like the setting and the stories. Anthology kind of thing. She's gonna be left all alone with the tree for 0.5 seconds, and oops, suddenly she is the tree. Yep. Maybe they're trying to untangle her. I did make that thing once. I don't even know if I don't know where it is. Would it be on my Twitter? I don't know how long ago it would be. But I did the thing, the alignment chart, and the 4 outliers plus the 5 characters from Whitecoats fit the alignment chart quite well, which was quite fun. I don't know where it would be. See if I can find it. You just want Stoic to have a bow at him like someone mistook him for a present. I happily stick a bow on his forehead. Oh, Beecham's Pills. That was February. Oh my word. Oh dear. Do you remember Beecham's Pills? Oh, I forgot about the draw fee 1 million thing. That took bloody ages. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through my Twitter right now. Thing is, if I scroll back to before I was doing the SSS stuff, there's probably far fewer pictures on here. This is not how I expected the stream to end, but you know, low energy. Oh, that was an interesting thing. I was looking up. Oh, look at that. This is from 2017. Oh, there's the 3D model of Rose. There's one I attempted when back when I was trying to do Whitecoats as a 3D modeled animated thing. One of the characters tried to make a. There's Rose, by the way. I was quite pleased with that model. Okay, so I found it, but the designs are a bit old. So some of these designs have changed quite a lot. But this was the alignment chart, as it were. Let's do a sort of upgraded version of this. Well, yeah. I like her hair. She's got good hair. She's fun. She's nice. She's like the M of the group. Clumsy as well. But also very smart. The fun thing about Whitecoats, kind of part of the design of Whitecoats, is that I wanted every single character to be very intelligent, but only in a very specific area. And then everywhere else they're a complete idiot. Because I like that. Does she talk? She does talk, yes. She probably doesn't shut up. She's very enthusiastic about nerdy things and such. I won't go into that. Anyway, characters, blah 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 blah. What am I doing? What are we doing? Okay, let's just get some. I like the idea of untangling M from the various decorations, because that gives us a kind of sort of more vertical kind of thing. So M sort of standing in the middle, sort of all sort of wrapped up. And then sort of you've got someone up here, someone there, and someone down there, like sort of a more sort of layered drawing, as 'twere. I I don't know who would be where precisely. So what have we got? We can have sort of tinsel, fairy lights. We could have like. I feel like Rufus trying to untangle fairy lights is quite fun. He's very sort of pernickety about it. Amazing, you already love it. Sell it to the tape. Make millions. I mean, you probably could if you were the right person, you had the right connections and the right ability to, you know, pass it off. Write the appropriate descriptive guff, and you'll yeah. Rufus will be so up in those fairy lights. I don't know what stoic. I like the idea of stoic, like just kind of disinterested in what's going on, and is just putting a star on top. He's not trying at all. They're not trying at all. Now we'll definitely just be yanking this instantly. Yep, good, good. I'm glad you know my character's better than me. How are the legs going to work here, right? Oh yeah, she's gonna have like baubles and stuff hanging from the hair. That's a given. Obviously the proportions are a bit off right now, but that's the way things go. It's also a sticker, so I don't have to be too detailed. It's best not to be too detailed, rather. What are proportions? Is that like meld? Maybe. In as much as I've never quite been able to ascertain how to procure or use them properly. Alright, she's not that thin. She used to be, but back before I knew anything about human or drawing. Full stop. Okay, so we wanted sort of stoic. We can sort of have him at a bit of an angle, make him a little interesting. Be looking up, wouldn't they? I know what I need. Sorry, I'm not really. Forgot I was streaming. What? Who do you think the big Christmas lover is in their house? I'm assuming it's him. Absolutely. I think Rufus gets excited for it, but he tends to worry more about the logistics. I think Mal likes spending time with friends, but at the same time doesn't really display sort of any kind of outward holiday festivity, if that makes sense. It's just a good excuse to get drunk with friends, I suppose. This is a social creature, Mal. And stoic is stoic. That's always how these descriptions of the characters end. And stoic is stoic. Full stop. End of conversation. Does have a nice bow though. Yes. It was put there without his consent. Whitebeard, maybe. I'd love you to put some dialogue to this when it's finished, just for fun, maybe. Just somebody saying we should probably get used to this by now. It happens every year. So much for anti-tangle lights. I don't know. I don't know quite where M's arms are going to go yet. Maybe one of her arms is holding up one of those little birds you clip into a Christmas tree. Can't say as I get that reference. This is the interesting thing you find about Christmas, is that there is really nothing established. It's just whatever goes. And everyone assumes that what they do for Christmas is what everyone else does. And then you're like, oh yeah, you're not gonna go home and, you know, set fire to the chairs and, you know, usher in the new day with new furniture. It's like, no, that's not a thing we do. Stoke, wear a Christmas jumper. He would probably be coerced into wearing one. I feel like, I don't know, sort of... Either that or Rufus would definitely wear one. It's difficult. It doesn't really matter what Em's wearing. She's wrapped up a little bit. Nephew saw a tree decorated with dinosaurs online, so guess what? Marvellous. It's quite literally an ornamental bird with a clip under it. Oh. You have a bunch on your tree. Oh, okay, we don't... Can't really say that's a thing in our particular instance. So I either jumper, Malka pull off the sexy Santa dress. I was about to say I think I already did that, but that was the picture of M, wasn't it? Could do. I was going to do an elf, but we could probably do the sexy Santa dress, who knows? Sexy elf. I only think of that because of his pointy ears, you know? Okay, you like the idea of the elf. Sexy elf dress? The idea of making Santa sexy is the weirdest thing. It's a bit peculiar. It's less making Santa sexy and making the iconography surrounding this character sexy, which is... like wear a hat? I don't know. Sort of elf hat. Why do we get sexy baby Jesus? If we looked at Halloween costumes for female. Sure, sexy baby Jesus is a thing? I'm sure. And with that, we end the stream. So the basic ideas of the stickers, there's going to be this kind of vertically seasonal one. I'll try and avoid any particular Christmas iconography. I'll just go with sort of seasonal-ish things. I mean, there's a Santa hat and an elf. There's not an awful lot I can do. But, you know, I'll try. And then there's also just the kind of headshot one with the four of them, which is always nice. Cool. And next year, hopefully, I'll actually make some bloody Outliers stuff. Maybe. Who knows? This is the most I've drawn these characters all bloody year. I'm still annoyed at that. There's so many ideas. They're just building up. Yeah, so thank you for coming along. Hopefully you like the stickers. Like I say, I'll post process stuff. Basically, this entire week is devoted to making stickers. So, all the Forest of Doom stuff, these guys, that's it. But it's a lot. So, you will ask you to. I'm sure I'll work something out. I'll at least do the calendar thing. I think that seems fun. Yeah, so thank you for coming along. Tomorrow, we have Magicka with Triforce. We did all little test of the game that went on for a bit too long. Just messing around with spells. It was fun. But I think we've got everything set up. So that should be... We're going to be co-streaming, I believe is the plan. So Tri will be streaming, I will be streaming. I'll try and get it up so I can see both chats. Yeah. Yeah, it's cute shape. Yeah. I also... Yeah, well, I won't talk about that. We'll do that tomorrow. Thank you for coming along to the stream. I never know with these ones how they're going to go, because I have no idea what I was going to draw. So, Yeah, Magica. We didn't do great. So it's going to be fun, trying not to die too much, and trying not to kill each other too much as well. So yes, that's going to be happening tomorrow, hopefully. Then obviously depends when you're doing a sort of two-person stream. If either one sort of drops out, you know, we'll see. But that's the plan anyway. So we have that. We have, I presume, a Chibi Nethers Day on Thursday. We have all sorts of things betwixt then. I can never remember who does things on Friday. I think Oobs does a Friday thing. Yeah, Chibi Nethers Days. Ooh. Don't apologize. You are under absolutely no obligation to be in chat, nor indeed to have any particular enthusiasm in chat. You do you. I'm the one who is under the obligation. Probably more Age of Mythology. Marvellous. Hopefully I'll be there for this one. Drawing stickers. Yeah, so that's the thing. There's stuff on Friday. I can never remember what's what because I'm bad. Saturday we will continue with Forest of Doom stickers. Hopefully I'll have most of the stickers done by then. And we might start work on the map and the poster. I think I'm going to go with the straight ahead Pal running towards camera with items flinging everywhere and all the enemies in the background. I probably won't have stuff in the foreground. And Pal bigger and closer, I think. Because they're the focus, you know? I am worried I'm slightly ripping off Mrs. opening and closing drawings for the Forest of Doom, but hopefully it'll be fun. No Hobgaze. The Hobgaze can be there. They just don't have to be enemies, you know? They can be behind a tree somewhere. I can include whatever you want me to include. And there will also be Hobgaze stickers, so... And also a little picture that Pal drew of the Hobgaze on the map. 'Twill be a thing. Can't wait to see Hobgaze stickers. The difficult thing with that is that I only drew them once. And you've drawn them so many times. So I don't really know. I should probably lean into how you've drawn them, because that's how we've come to know them, you know? Take my own spin on it, yes. There'll be Merson and Blood Eels in the water. There'll be pterodactyls and death hawks in the sky. There'll be spiders and ape men in trees. Very layered piece. Fan art of fan art of fan art of official art. I don't think there was a picture of the hobgoblins, to be honest, so I suppose mine was original, I guess. Very much a happy accident, those two pieces mirroring each other. Yeah. I thought it was deliberate. I thought it was a nice bookend, you know? Then again, you didn't necessarily know it was the final stream. You probably did, but... Forward planning, yes. To be fair, I said I'd be forward planning with these stickers, and that I wouldn't have as much to do at the end of it. And I did make, like, 6. So... 6 out of 25. It's not terrible. Forward and planning are not words you use very often. Because as we know, Miss walks backwards. Then you make some more Hobgay art, and then that's fan art of fan art of fan art of official art. Ooh, and so the cycle will continue, and I will draw fan art of that, etc., etc. I should end the stream. Thank you everyone for coming along. Have a wonderful time doing whatever it is you're doing. Magica, tomorrow. We're going to be so bad. It's great. Yeah. Thank you for coming along. And thank you for your enthusiasms with regards to my OC problems. Goodbye.